In my personal opinion, the Congress will win, but whosoever wins will be by a huge majority. That's what I think. Now, at the moment with us, our very old friend, joining us after a long time, Mr. Ruben Mascarenas of the Aam Aadmi Party. How do you do, Ruben?
I'm all good, sir. How are you, sir?
Namaskar.
Nice to be on your show after a long time.
After a long hiatus, and you had gone abroad also and stuff like that. But today, so the cops turned up at your house. The police turned up at your house and told you can't go out because we will not let you demonstrate against the arrest of Sanjaysingh. Is that correct, Ruben?
No, RKB, I mean, it was a very comic situation because the cops arrived very early at 7:30 a.m. and they sort of sealed the access to the colony. And just for one person, just for me, there were 2 vans and there was 1 jeep and there were 6 or 7 officers.
Oh wow!
And as soon as I opened the door, they were recording me, and I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? So first they said that, okay, you need to sign some document. When I went down, they didn't have any notice. I tried to tell them that, hey, I'm a lawyer, so please show me your notice. I'm happy to cooperate. And then, the senior PI reaches out to me and says that, hey, there's a lot of pressure on us and we need to essentially be seen to be acting. So this is a preventive detention of sorts. And I told him कि देखिए कुछ आप केवल चंद 20-25 जो सीनियर लीडरशिप को अगर आप प्रिवेंटिवली डिटेन करते हैं तो उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि प्रोटेस्ट नहीं होगा. प्रोटेस्ट तो होगा. आम आदमी पार्टी के हजारों कार्यकर्ता हैं और बढ़ चढ़ के हमारा प्रोटेस्ट हुआ इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ एनीथिंग. लेकिन आरकेबी आप मुझे जानते हैं जब सिंस आई वाज लाइक 17 और 18 लाइक क्वाइट लिटरली. और उसने मतलब आज तक मैं पब्लिक लाइफ में इतने साल हो गए, कभी ऐसा हमारी मुंबई पुलिस ने बिल्कुल नहीं किया. हम हमेशा पुलिस को बताते थे कि देखिए हम ऐसे कर रहे हैं. पुलिस हमको बताती थी ठीक है ऐसे मत करके ऐसे करो. दे वुड ऑलवेज बी वेरी कोऑपरेटिव. आज तक कभी हमने ना तो पुलिस के आदेशों का कभी उल्लंघन किया है, ना तो कभी हमने जो है कानून सख्ती से तोड़ा है. मे बी जमाबंदी का थोड़ा आदेश था तो जस्ट बेसिक जो जमाबंदी तोड़ने के जो सेक्शंस है वो लगाए जाते थे. बट आई थिंक ये पहली बार हुआ है आरकेबी की मुंबई पुलिस ने और मुझे दुख इस बात का है कि मुंबई पुलिस हमारी पुलिस है. इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन के समय पूरा उनका कोऑपरेशन था और वो जानते हैं कि हम ठीक लोग हैं. पुलिस भी ऑफ द रिकॉर्ड कहती है कि लिसन वी नो यू आर क्लीन पीपल बट वी नीड टू बी सीन टू एक्ट. तो ये प्रेशर ये कहाँ से आ रहा है प्रेशर? क्या फडणवीस जी जो राज्य के गृह मंत्री हैं वो प्रेशर डाल रहे हैं या क्या मोटा भाई दिल्ली से कुछ प्रेशर डाल रहे हैं? तो ये क्या प्रेशर है? क्योंकि ये केवल मुंबई में नहीं, ये दिल्ली में भी हुआ और ये आश्चर्य की बात है क्योंकि विरोध प्रदर्शन करना हमारा हक है, हमारा अधिकार है और सरकार का ये दायित्व है कि वो इसे हमें हमारा जो विरोध करने का जो हक है उसे एनेबल करें. सो आई डोंट सी कि ये कब से ये इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि ये हमारी इंडियन स्टेट कब से इतनी कमजोर हो गई है जब से मोदी जी सत्ता में है कि हर कुछ इज सीन एज सम थ्रेट टू द कंट्री एंड एंटी इंडिया और इतनी साजिश और मतलब पता नहीं क्या कहां से मन घड़ंत.
You should feel flattered, Ruben. They thought you were Che Guevara, Wow, rocking. 2 vans, so many cops, the entire colony being barricaded. Wonderful, really wonderful, fantastic. You arrived, but but jokes apart, सबसे बड़ी वाहियात बात क्या है कि आज की तारीख में मनीष सिसोदिया has been in jail for such a long time. मतलब 6 महीने से ऊपर हो गए मनीष जी has been in jail. उसके अलावा संजय सिंह जी को उठा करके ले गए. संजय सिंह जी के घर से कुछ मिला नहीं. मतलब ये क्या हो क्या रहा है यार? ये मेरी समझ के बाहर है. क्या ये भारत देश है क्या? व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन? आई मीन इफ दे आर गिल्टी डू बी काइंड एनफ टू punish them, hang them by all means. But as Justice Khanna asked in the Supreme Court, where's the proof, sir?
No, absolutely, sir. If you see, there have been 1,000+ raids on anyone and everyone who, according to the ED, is related to this so-called scam. But they've not found an iota of evidence. They've not found a shred of money trail or anything else for that matter. And in this, the process is the punishment, right? You
Yes.
see that the bail was denied by the lower court. It was then appealed in the High Court. It was denied in the High Court, and now the bail plea is now being heard in the Supreme Court. And just look at the extent to which the BJP can just compromise, central agencies like the ED, like the CBI, to just go after the opposition just because ये मोदी जी की बौखलाहट है कि आम आदमी पार्टी और अरविंद केजरीवाल को भाजपा पॉलिटिकली मैनेज नहीं कर सकती है, इसीलिए हमको चुनाव में वो हरा नहीं सकते हैं, इसीलिए उनको कैसे भी करके ये मनगढ़ंत कहानियां बना के उनको हमारे लीडरशिप को जेल में रखना है। मनीष सिसोदिया जी देश के सबसे बेहतरीन शिक्षा मंत्री हैं। उन्होंने दिल्ली में एक क्रांति का शुरुआत किया है, और यही शिक्षा की क्रांति भाजपा को पच नहीं रही है, क्योंकि ये कभी कोई दूसरे स्टेट में हम सुनते नहीं है कि अरे हमने राजस्थान में या हमने एमपी में या हमने गुजरात में हमने स्कूल ठीक बना दिए और आपके दिल्ली की तुलना में यहाँ के स्कूल अच्छे हैं। वी डोंट हियर एनी ऑफ दोस कंपैरिजन। That is because the BJP can just create some emotional issue and, just polarize people and use hate and use the politics of othering to basically win an election. But the BJP doesn't know what to do when people contest elections on public service delivery, on Shiksha,
right,
on Pani,
right,
on Bijli.
So in effect, before Pradeep ji comes in, because he has a lot of questions for you, in effect, the idea is to create terror. The idea is to create fear that, hey, listen, if we can do this to these guys, imagine what we'll do to you. Is that right, Ruben?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I just passed my law last month. I'm an engineer primarily. And what a joke this entire process has been reduced to. You have bail, which is essentially what is supposed to be the norm, and jail is essentially the exception. But in this case, there's just a trumped-up charge. There's just some approver being brought there. Then you have Sanjay being arrested. Now they will argue that, we found something in Sanjay, and, then that will prove something else. But nothing's been proven. I mean, nothing's even come to a trial stage. What the hell is going on?
You initially said what Mr. Kejriwal ji said. Kejriwal ji kaha ki 15 months, 1,000 raids, not a rupee has been recovered. That's what Kejriwal said. Kejriwal ji aage kehta hai ki 33 cases have been filed against me continuously, but not a shred of evidence against me. This has been continuing. Rahul Gandhi ji, one of your Gadak Dal kehta hai ki opposition is being targeted, and you have listed the opposition being targeted. On Delhi, on second, it started on second, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, 60 raids, around 60 locations NIA raided. On third, 46 journalists were questioned, most of them arrested. Special squad where news click was considered. Enforcement Directorate on 4th arrest Sanjaysingh. On 5th, IT department raids around 40 locations where DMK MP Jagat Rakshanan was there. So now this entire thing is suddenly a spurt of raids where opposition leaders are concerned and men of repute who could damage the reputation of BJP or Mr. Modi is being targeted. Is that happening, Mr. Mascarenhas?
No, absolutely. कि ये कभी भ्रष्टाचार के बारे में था ही नहीं. अगर आज संजय सिंह जी बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर जाते हैं या मनीष सिसोदिया जी बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर जाते हैं, तो बीजेपी की सो कॉल्ड बहती गंगा में, बीजेपी की वॉशिंग मशीन में सब धुल जाएंगे, सब आरोप धुल जाएंगे, कुछ नहीं बचेगा. अजीत पवार के बारे में देखो, अजीत पवार के बारे में खुद हमारे आज के जो उप मुख्यमंत्री है महाराष्ट्र के देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी, और हमें पता है क्योंकि ये 2011 के बाद जब इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन में हमने इरिगेशन स्कैम का एक्सपोजे किया था, तभी जोरों शोरों से देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी ने हमारे ही डॉक्यूमेंट्स का इस्तेमाल करके ये आरोप लगाए थे कि 70,000 करोड़ का ये सिंचन घोटाला है, इरिगेशन स्कैम है. उसके खिलाफ फिर क्योंकि तभी ये एमवीए की सरकार थी, तो तभी उन्होंने जो है ये शुरू किया उनका पूछताछ। और अभी वो जो अभी तत्कालीन शिंदे सरकार और भाजपा बीजेपी के महाराष्ट्र सरकार में, क्योंकि एक घटक दल है, उनके ऊपर कोई देयर इज नो ईडी, देयर इज नो फॉलो अप, देयर इज नथिंग। तो ये सेटलमेंट हो गया भाई। ये बीजेपी का ये कोई भ्रष्टाचार से लेना देना नहीं है, इनको कुछ पड़ी नहीं है।
रूबेन साहब लेकिन
कैसे ऑपोजिशन,
लेकिन साहब सबसे बड़ी बात यहां पर यह बनती है कि अब चलिए ये तो रही सत्येंद्र जैन साहब की बात, मनीष सिसोदिया जी की बात, संजय सिंह जी की बात, और जहां तक आपका और प्रीति मेनन जी का सवाल है, मैं एक चीज बता दूं, जैसे हम लोगों ने आप लोगों को बताया था, वी वर द ओनली चैनल इन फैक्ट दैट कैरिड दिस ऑन एंड ऑन फॉर आवर्स टुगेदर एंड पीपल वर आस्किंग कि क्या आप लोगों ने आम आदमी पार्टी ज्वाइन कर ली है। मैंने कहा भैया ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन जहां पर जो कुछ भी होता है हम लोगों को बताना पड़ता है ना। अरे जबान को बंद थोड़ी कर सकता है, सीधी सादी बात है। प्रीति शर्मा मेनन जी और रूबेन मास्केरेना साहब के घर में पुलिस पहुंच गई ये देखने के लिए कि वो एक आंदोलन में ना जाएं, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन उसमें ना जाएं, कैंपेन में, डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन में। लेकिन अभी क्या हुआ है, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के खिलाफ भी एक कंप्लेंट दायर की गई है, एलजी साहब ने खुद दायर करी है उनके घर को लेकर के। ये कहा गया है कि न जाने कितने पैसे खर्च दिए घर पे, करोड़ों रुपए खर्च दिए गए। सो डू यू थिंक अरविंद केजरीवाल इज ऑल्सो लाइकली टू बी अरेस्टेड? इज देयर अ पॉसिबिलिटी?
देखिए ये बीजेपी पर कोई भरोसा नहीं कर सकते। इनका बस चले तो ये सारे देश के सारे विरोधी पार्टी के सारे नेताओं को अरेस्ट कर देंगे, खासकर अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, क्योंकि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी एक उनके लिए एक चुपता कांटा है जो हमेशा मोदी जी को आह्वान देता है, चैलेंज करता है, टिट फॉर टैट देता है डिस्कोर्स में। और वो लिटरली बीजेपी जो भी मे बी कांग्रेस को मैनेज कर सकती है, बीजेपी में भी जो भी उनका प्रोपोगंडा है कांग्रेस के खिलाफ प्रोपोगंडा है, बीजेपी आम आदमी पार्टी को मैनेज नहीं कर सकती है। दैट इज वन। एंड सेकंड इज ये जो बीजेपी चला रही है सो कॉल्ड मुख्यमंत्री के घर का रेनोवेशन, अरे कम ऑन, गिव इट अ ब्रेक। दिल्ली डजंट हैव अ परमानेंट रेसिडेंस फॉर ऑल चीफ मिनिस्टर्स। दिस रेसिडेंस wasn't taken up for renovation for the last 5 decades. It is now being undertaken. It has a secretariat. It has accommodation for over 200 plus people. It has cabinet meetings. It has meetings for local MLAs. It has security cordons. में काफी कुछ है। मतलब ये इनको क्या लगता है, ये कोई मोदी जी की कोई प्राइवेट जेट नहीं है जहां पे वो अडानी को लेके फिरते हैं। मतलब ये थोड़ा बीजेपी should come out of this so-called
and it is not
propaganda.
Mr. Kejriwal's private residence either.
दिल्ली सरकार, सुनिए
जी,
दिल्ली की जनता जानती है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल और आम आदमी पार्टी एक काम करने वाली सरकार है। 5 साल पहले जब हमने पहले 5 साल वो हमें सत्ता उन्होंने सौंपा था, तब हमने बिजली, पानी, सड़क, शिक्षा और स्वास्थ्य ठीक की। यही चीज नेक्स्ट 5 years में we've taken it to the next level and people can see through it. So ये जो भी बीजेपी को कहना है बीजेपी कहे, दिल्ली की जनता, देश की जनता, पंजाब की जनता जानती है और जनता हमारे साथ है। तो ये बीजेपी का प्रोपेगेंडा उनको जो करना करने दीजिए।
Important thing is that we are concerned about the opposition unity. Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress has to be together if you want to take on Mr. Modi, because Mr. Modi 2024 he's increased everything by gigantic proportions. Now we are concerned when you arrested in Punjab a Congress leader, और केजरीवाल जी ने कहा कि नशे के तस्करों को हम जेल भेजेंगे, and then further केजरीवाल साहब कहा कि ये जो पहले पंजाब को करप्शन से रिलेट करता था, आज पंजाब करप्शन से रिलेट नहीं होता है हमारे आम आदमी पार्टी टेक ओवर करने के बाद। Earlier, you talk about corruption, you talk about Punjab. Punjab is synonymous for corruption. He goes on to tell further that today we have developed Punjab in such a manner, 2,80,000 MSMEs आ गया है, 50,000 करोड़ के इन्वेस्टमेंट आ चुका है, we are creating more than 3 lakh jobs immediately. और पहले के सरकार, केजरीवाल जी said, पहले वाला सरकार ब्रेड बनाने वाले कंपनी से लेकर धाबा जो चलाता था उससे हिस्सेदारी लेते था। That was केजरीवाल साहब said. Now, when you cast criticism like that, it affects the Congress. You arrested a Congress minister, you are criticizing the earlier Congress government. देन ब्रेड बनाने वाले से भी कमीशन ले लेता था, ढाबे वाले से. So how can we have Aam Aadmi Party Congress unity till 2024 to fight on Mr. Modi, Mr. Mascarenes?
So, thank you so much, Pradeep ji, for your question, and you'll have to give me 2 or 3 minutes to sort of answer it because you asked many questions in that one question. Number one, facts are facts. I'm not Vivek Agnihotri to say facts are not facts. And the fact is that the previous governments in Punjab, whether it is the Akali Dal government or the Congress government, has engaged in rampant corruption. Our unprecedented mandate is essentially a testament to the fact that people had completely given up on both of these parties. Such was the extent of corruption, such was the extent of poor service delivery. That's point one. And whether we ally with the Congress or the Lok Sabha doesn't essentially change that fact. That's point number one. Point number two, there is a distinction between misuse of agencies to create a trumped up charge. That is one thing. And when it comes to actually going after people who've actually been part of the drug mafia, you see the case against Mr. Sukhpal Khera. It's pretty open and shut. It was watered down under political pressure. And right now, the Bhagwan Maan government is essentially going to go after all these so-called drug mafia, which is nothing but narco-terrorism, which has ruined almost 70% of Punjab's young people. And we've launched what is easily the largest rehabilitation programs of its kind in the world. Let me also draw your attention to that this financial quarter, Punjab's revenue share was higher than that of Haryana. So, ईमानदारी की सरकार is actually working on the ground and it is there for all to see. तो क्योंकि हमने एक पंजाब में उनके एक so called drug lord MLA के खिलाफ हमने action लिया है, that is somehow being equated to misuse of agencies to put Congress in place. No, I don't think that is true. There is a distinction and we need to see that distinction. And last point and most important point, कि देखिए we have differences with the Congress. ये कोई हम ये नहीं कह रहे हैं कि just because we've allied with them suddenly all our differences have melted away. What we are saying is that आज देश के हित में, आज संविधान को बचाने के लिए, देश को बचाने के लिए पार्टी तो बड़ी छोटी सी चीज है, पार्टी का एक्सपेंशन छोटा सा चीज है. इंडिया alliance is basically the coming together of all the opposition to take on Narendra Modi, to take on the BJP, to defeat the politics of hate. And this is what is needed for the country and we are doing that. So that doesn't mean that our differences with the parties are over. It just means कि country बचाने के लिए, देश बचाने के लिए, संविधान बचाने के लिए हम एक साथ आए हैं और लोकसभा इलेक्शन हम to the extent possible साथ में लड़ रहे हैं. तो I don't think कि इसमें क्या विरोधाभास है.
But over here, Ruben Mascarenes, but over here, just about everybody has supported you. You take a look at Mr. Sharad Pawar. I mean, I was so pleasantly surprised to see Mr. Pawar's statement with regard to Aam Aadmi Party. He supported Mr. Kejriwal. He's condemned the fact that Mr. Sanjaysingh has been arrested, and he also said that Aam Aadmi Party is cooperating totally with the India Alliance. Mr. Nitish Kumar has said the same thing. Tejasvi Yadav has said the same thing. Mamata Banerjee has said the same thing. Stalin has said the same thing. Uddhav Thackeray, of course, says the same thing again and again. In fact, Sanjay Raut, I think, was the first of the blocks to support Sanjay Singh.
Correct.
And I think that's really commendable. So you think the India Alliance is coming together and will remain united till 2024?
No, I don't think as an opposition we have a choice. And I think we, beyond thinking about our own party's prospects or making our own leader the prime minister or whatever else, we have to think about the country. We have to look at the extent in which the quality of democracy has been degraded. We need to see the extent to which socially disadvantaged groups are continuously being othered just because of the BJP's lopsided sense of history, its essential use of hate to create a sense of polarization which always affects them. Our next generations will not forgive us if we don't basically do the right thing and stand up. So I think we are together. I don't see any problems with that. But I'll say one thing. But I want to say one point. When Rahul Gandhi was disqualified on a very
Ji.
flimsy pretext when it came to that criticism of Modi and Modi being a community and all of that. Arvind Kejriwal had said that this is wrong. He didn't essentially support with ifs and buts, and it's a little disappointing to see the Congress support us but come up with ifs and buts. So I just hope that better sense prevails, and when it comes to standing for the right thing, you need to stand for the right thing, and that is beyond our politics. And I think Arvind did that when it came to Rahul Gandhi being disqualified, and I think when our senior leaders are being attacked, then we would expect the same reciprocation from the Congress.
I hope it happens. I really hope it happens for everybody's sake. But the question that I'm asking you is this: you'll have to change your strategy a little bit, or forget change. You will have to work out a strategy as to how all of you are going to fight elections from jail. क्योंकि मुझे लग रहा है बहुत लोग अब तिहाड़ जेल में जाएंगे, अलग अलग जेलों में जाएंगे साहब, वहाँ से चुनाव लड़ना पड़ेगा आपको. तो वो वर्कआउट किया है सर? Is that strategy being worked out? Because I know Mr. Arvind Kejriwal usually is about 5 to 6 steps ahead of everybody else. So has that been worked out, Ruben sir?
No, of course, आम आदमी पार्टी एक जन आंदोलन से उभरी हुई पार्टी है, and we are not worried to go to jail because we know we've done the right thing. We know that we've not done an ounce of corruption, and we know that the judiciary, der hi sahi, the judiciary, irrespective of however compromised the institutions may seem to be, we have full faith in the judiciary, and we know that justice will prevail. That said, irrespective of whether we are in jail or not, okay, maybe इनके पास इनके ये 2.5 लोगों की पार्टी तो ये है, एक मोदी जी है, एक अमित शाह जी है, और पता नहीं आधा आरएसएस से कभी कोई लोन पे आते रहता है. तो जो ये 2.5 लोगों की पार्टी तो ये है भाई. हमारे चाहे इंडिया अलायंस का कोई भी पार्टी देख लो, हमारे पास बहुत सारे लीडर्स हैं और बहुत सारे प्रत्याशी हैं, और अगर वो सारे लोग को भी अंदर डाल दिए तो और भी लोग आ जाएंगे. तो ये केवल कुछ चंद लोग अगर चुनाव में है तो इससे माहौल खराब हो जाएगा और इससे जनता वोट नहीं दे देगी. देखिए, आप जमीन पे, जैसे मेरे कुछ बीजेपी के दोस्त लोग हैं, मैं उनसे बात कर रहा था, जैसे दे ऑल्सो रीच्ड आउट टू मी सेइंग व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन, और वो कहते हैं कि भाई अति हो गई है. तो आई थिंक ग्राउंड पे लोग देखते हैं कि भाई ईडी के पास कोई काम धंधा नहीं है, कि कोई ऑपोजिशन को कहीं ना कहीं पे कुछ भी फिक्स करने की कोशिश करते हैं. और मनीष जी के साथ जब ऐसी बदसलूकी होती है, सत्येंद्र जैन जो खुद मैं उनके साथ काम कर चुका हूँ, ही इज अ वर्कaholic of a person. He is not even a politician. He is just a workaholic. He just knows how to reduce the cost when it comes to everything. He saves 100 crore on an average in every flyover. It's because of that money that we've been able to provide free medicines in Delhi. He's been able to create the cheapest mohalla clinics in the world almost in terms of the prototype of that clinic. And if this is what happens with them, clearly जनता जानती है, जनता can see through this.
Mr. Master is a new
मन गठन करते रहता है.
एक बहुत बड़ा एक people have suddenly started asking for a white paper of relationship between Khalistani, Mr. Pannu and Aam Aadmi Party. बोले कि the Khalistanis worked a lot. If you want to answer this particular thing, the Khalistanis worked a lot to see that Aam Aadmi Party wins. In fact, भिंद्रनवाले के नाम पर कोई अकाउंट खुला था और उसमें करीबन $6.7 million ट्रांसफर हुआ था. फिर ultimately the name was changed. If you want to answer this, it could be just. But do you want to talk on the subject?
No, I just want to say quickly that there is absolutely no support for the so-called K-word in India, in Punjab or anywhere else when it comes to the Indian diaspora. That's point number 1. Point number 2, there is no connection between the Aam Aadmi Party and the K people or whatever else, whoever else may say. There is a government here. If the government feels that they have some evidence on us, let them take action. The fact is that they cannot because they don't have anything. तो ये जो आप जो बोल रहे हैं, ये जो अमित मालवीय और जो इनकी जो राइट विंग, इनका जो प्रोपेगेंडा आम है, जहाँ पे वो झूठ बोल के उनको लगता है कि वो झूठ इतनी बार बोलेंगे और वो मीडिया में एम्पलीफाई हो जाएगा, और इनके जो गोदी मीडिया जो है, जैसे आपको पता है कि क्या चल रहा है, किस तरीके से एक नैरेटिव फिक्स किया जाता है, और ऐसे ही नैरेटिव में उनको लगता है कि पीपल वोंट बी एबल टू सी थ्रू दिस. बट दिस इज ऑल रबिश. दिस इज नॉट इवन फैक्चुअल. ये जितने भी ये लोग हैं, दिस आर ऑल ISI ऑपरेटिव्स. ये सब पाकिस्तान वाले प्रॉप्ड अप वाले चीजें हैं. प्लीज दैट शुड बी टैकल्ड. प्लीज यूज द इंडियन डिफेंस प्रिपेयर्डनेस टुवर्ड्स दैट. But all of this is ridiculous. To just somehow anyone who basically stands up to the government, उसको बस anti-national करार दिया जाता है. So
No, Nari Shakti Vandan
fit in
Adhiniyam. Mr. Mascaran is Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. Mr. Modi claims it a landmark achievement in Indian democratic process. He said, लोग सिर्फ सोच रहे थे 27 साल हमने 2 दिन में करके दिखा दिया. India Alliance also right now talking about caste census. Rahul Gandhi ji कह रहे हैं कि 2024 immediately coming to power, I will implement this caste based census. Mr. Modi says I'm among the few OBC prime ministers. The Congress never thought of it in 75 years, 60 years. So how do you see this? Where Nari Shakti Adhiniyam is concerned and caste census, the Aam Aadmi Party stand. Ruben ji.
No, the Aam Aadmi Party's stance has always been that women should be given their rightful dignity, honor and position when it comes to Indian politics. And when we mean women, we just don't want the Behan Beti Brigade, which is exactly what happens when it comes to present women's reservation when it comes to local bodies. RKB साहब जानते होंगे कि किस प्रकार से अगर वो म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन में या जिला पंचायत में या जिला परिषद में जब चुनाव होते हैं स्थानिक निकाय के, तो वहां पे एक तरफ से जेन्युइन जो वुमेन लीडरशिप है वो ना आकर ये बहन बेटी वही चीजें वो इलेक्ट हो जाती हैं और फिर पावर बिहाइंड द थ्रोन है वो प्रॉक्सीज हो जाती हैं और वो जो उनके जो हस्बैंड्स हैं, उनके जो भाई हैं, उनके जो पिताजी हैं, वो प्रॉक्सी तरीके से रूल करते हैं. सो वी ऑब्वियसली डोंट वांट दैट. वी वांट जेन्युइन वुमेन्स एम्पावरमेंट. लेकिन ये एक वापस से मोदी जी ने एक शगुफा छोड़ा. ये वापस से कि मोदी जी ये इवन आप देख लो ना, चाहे वो डीमोनेटाइजेशन हो, चाहे वो डीमोबिलाइजेशन हो जो हमने देखा कोविड लॉकडाउन में, तो इनको बस केवल बड़े अनाउंसमेंट्स करने का आई थिंक ही इज एडिक्टेड टू इट. And it doesn't really have any immediate impact. I mean, if it was really this important, he should have said, "Okay, we'll basically get the reservation right now." Why do you have to wait for the next round of Lok Sabha elections and the next round of delimitation and consensus and all of this? अभी का भी दे दो ना. आपको अगर आप इतना फार रीचिंग वगैरह सब कुछ है तो अभी का भी दे दो. पॉइंट इज कि ये मोदी जी केवल वर्च्यू सिग्नलिंग कर रहे हैं. इनको करना तो है नहीं. ये बस केवल ये बताना चाह रहे हैं कि हाँ हमने कुछ किया विदाउट डूइंग एनीथिंग. एंड दैट इज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली द बीजेपीज 10 years of rule is कि वो ऐसे बताते हैं कि उन्होंने बहुत कुछ किया लेकिन करते कुछ है नहीं. नाउ कमिंग टू द कास्ट सेंसस सर. कास्ट सेंसस इज extremely important in this country because whether we like it or not, caste is a reality which is experienced by millions of Indians. Okay, and maybe हमें लगता है कि because we are part of the English speaking elite and we come from the cities कि यहाँ पे caste system हमें impact नहीं होता. I still remember in college at St. Xavier's College, one of my professors, the great Nandini Sardesai, who used to teach me sociology, would tell me that if you don't know what your caste is, then you essentially come from the upper caste. So that said, when caste is a lived reality and is essentially an impediment when it comes to equal opportunity for large segment of the population, it is extremely important to see what exactly has happened. And we've seen what the BJP has done when it comes to the Maratha reservation. They've bungled it. We see what the BJP did when it comes to Lingayats and the Vokaligas in Karnataka. So the BJP has to create some so-called othering story, and in order to create this othering story and polarize the electorate, it has to come up with these so-called fictions from time to time.
So in effect, what you're really saying is, Ruben, what you're really saying is, Hindu versus Muslim, now caste versus caste. Is that what's going to happen now?
No. Let me correct myself. BJP does Hindu-Muslim politics.
Yes.
What we are essentially saying is we need to do politics of development. We need to look at what exactly is the position of so many other castes when it comes to reservation, when it comes to affirmative action. Has it actually worked for them? Has it not worked for them? What has happened to minorities when it comes to these communities? So we want to look at holistically we want to look at who the marginalized are and to what extent has affirmative action worked for them and not. So this is basically a policy exercise. Why is this being made into a political issue? ये तो केवल आपको ठीक तरीके से आपको शासन करना है, आपको आपके प्रशासन को ये सारी
But that will take a very long time. I tell you what,
वाकिफ होना
if
चाहिए.
we have a discussion on caste, it will take a very, very long time. We need a whole day for it. But you know, chalte chalte, are there any more demonstrations planned? Are there more programs planned with regard to Mumbai? क्या मुंबई में मुंबई आम आदमी पार्टी, you, Preeti Sharma Menon, and all the rest of your chaps, are they planning some more demonstrations with regard to A, the manner in which people have been arrested, and B, just a case in point, journalists have been raided? Ruben.
No, I just go to the journalists have been raided before because I know Gautam Bhatia personally. I'm
Yes.
a huge fanboy of his legal acumen. And when someone like him, who is essentially a first-rate legal scholar, who comes up with original research, one of the few bright legal minds in this so-called legal firmament, if he is basically being penalized and named in the FIR for giving legal opinion, that is dangerous. It's essentially a message to all the lawyers to say that, hey, you need to toe the line, you need to fall in place. You need to fall in place, else we're basically going to come after you. And that is extremely problematic. What has happened with journalists is extremely problematic. UAPA, we saw what happened when it came to Bhima Koregaon.
Yes.
I personally know Stan Swami through my principal at St. Xavier's College. And the man had just asked for a straw because he had Parkinson's and he was denied that. And there was this trumped up charges. And we have international agencies and independent investigations say that there was evidence actually planted on his laptop.
Yes.
So we've been seeing this again and again. It's not about NewsClick or it is not about some journalist or the other. It's about sending a message to say that, hey, we're going to come after you and it doesn't matter who you are. As long as you don't toe the line, we will come after you. And that is deeply, deeply problematic. That is degrading the quality of our democracy. We may not like the journalists. I don't like journalists asking me a few questions as a spokesperson of the party, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't exist. That doesn't mean that they don't have a right to do what their job is. Their job is to ask questions, and I think we should respond to questions. That's point one. Point two, with regards to what's going to happen, I am confident that the manner in which the entire hearings have gone, October 12th को जेल के ताले खुलेंगे और मनीष सिसोदिया छूटेंगे. मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि October 12th को यही होगा, and I think that will also be extended to the other people who are incarcerated, क्योंकि ये बहुत तमाशा हो गया. जितना ये खींच सके वो खींच चुके, लेकिन हमें हमारी जुडिशरी पे, हमारी न्याय प्रणाली पे पूरा भरोसा है और हम आशा करते हैं कि October 12 को हमारे पक्ष में सुप्रीम कोर्ट निर्णय देगा. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, अभी हम वेट एंड वॉच हम आजमा रहे हैं, क्योंकि जैसे मैं आपके द्वारा ये कहना चाहूंगा कि ये पहली बार ऐसा हुआ है कि आम आदमी पार्टी की पूरी लीडरशिप, ऑलमोस्ट 20 to 23 people were actually arrested, और एक पर्सन को 4 पुलिस के वैन्स, 6-7 पुलिस ऑफिसर्स, मतलब I don't know, मतलब हम when did we become a threat to the state? पुलिस हमको जानती है.
You've been called Naxalites before. You've been called urban Naxals.
No, we are not Naxalites. We don't support.
You were called urban Naxals by the Prime Minister himself. He called you urban Naxals. Vivek Agnihotri and Prime Minister Modi can come up with their dialogues. They're all, because ये कोई नेता वगैरह सब अभिनेता कम है, ये तो एक कठपुतली है.
But Prime Minister says that you are interested in photo opportunities, not the Prime Minister. He says, you guys, he says the opposition, the India Alliance, go to the fields, click photograph, but you got nothing to do with the poor and downtrodden. Wow, lovely.
Ruben, I think
so I'll just end by basically saying, see, I was just looking at the figures, okay, and if you don't pull India out of poverty in the next 20 years, we are staring at a demographic nightmare. If we end up becoming old before we become rich, we will not have another opportunity to pull millions of our people out of poverty. And rather than focusing on skills, rather than focusing on education, rather than focusing on healthcare, rather than focusing on healthcare infrastructure, we have the BJP speak about some random rubbish And that is supposed to be, that polarization, that so-called othering, that so-called discrimination is supposed to deliver India into the 21st century. That's rubbish. We are staring at a disaster if we don't pull people out of poverty in the next 20 years. And that should be what our focus should be. And Modi ji should be saying कि नहीं, Arvind ji के तुलना में हम उससे अच्छा कर रहे हैं. And we would let there be a competition. And that should be what India's politics should be about.
But you
and
should be
not
very
this,
happy.
ये
Ruben
photo opportunity,
Mascarenhas
वो photo
sahab,
super.
you should be very, very happy. Everybody is adopting the Kejriwal model. Everyone all over is adopting the Kejriwal model. That's exactly what Arvind had said 4.5 years ago. I still remember he had said every state will now demand what we are providing in Delhi. And that's exactly what's happening. And by the way, just for the information of our viewers, once again I'm repeating this, Aam Aadmi Party was the first party actually to talk about education and healthcare. The only party which made that into an election issue. And for that, our respect for you will always be there. Fantastic job. Ruben Mascarenhas, thank you very much for joining us. All the very best to you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's a bit of a problem really, isn't it, Pradeep ji? कि मतलब यार do you think ये 12 तारीख को the department will come up with
a new angle totally. They might come. We need to investigate this angle too. I mean, there's new find. We found new evidence, and we need to substantiate the evidence. So you need to give us. Central agency will always get some time.
We need further custodial interrogation.
And after 3 months or 4 months, they will say, "Where is the evidence?" Again, the court will ask him, and then.
Unless the
not
court,
a shred of evidence.
Unless the court just puts its foot down and says, "Thank you very much. He's been with you for such a long time, and anyway, he's in judicial custody. He's not in your custody, so out he goes. Thank you very much." There is a possibility that might happen.
We hope it happens. We talk about independent judiciary, stare independence, judicial integrity, and intellectual integrity.
You know,
we need to enforce that.
You know, I think Mr. Modi has done a wonderful job in so many areas. Now, it is these aberrations which make me question some of his advisors as to what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, by doing this, you are hurting Mr. Modi's image. Because we've just done such a wonderful job. We've got 107 medals in the Asian Games. We've done a fantastic job where G20 is concerned. We've pushed back at Canada and told the Canadians exactly where they get off. We've told the Americans, hey, listen, you're our partners, but we don't answer to you, okay? And the Americans have said, right, thank you very much. We didn't mean that.
We're off this.
You know?
We don't want to involve.
But when you do something like this, you know, pick up these boys from our, without whatever, it gives me a great feeling. Unless, of course, the BJP is right and these guys are really guilty, and then I would be really heartbroken. You know, I don't think so. But anyway, because I'll tell you what, if they were guilty, their lifestyle would be different. They would be wearing different kinds of clothes. They would be living in different houses. Of course, maybe they would not be living in different houses. Their families would be living in different houses.
And what are we talking about? 1 crore, 2 crore? I mean,
yeah, Khan. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. It's like now that you've got that. What is that? Mahadev app, and so you're calling all the film stars over to your office for photo ops. I think this will also continue for some time. But in any event, let's see how that